is Diane Poole-Heller, and I just wanted to talk to you again today, to help us all stay connected to each other. I think this is so important. So I'm here. I want to help as many of you as I can. I know this is a really tough time for all of us. We're stressed out, and I want to make sure that we do things in our daily life that help us calm down, help us do what we can do, and be a little bit more at ease about the things we can't control, because certainly we're not in control of the situation, but we are in control in terms of how to keep ourselves safe by following all the guidelines that all of you already know. One of the things I wanted to highlight today was how we interact with media. Media is reporting 24/7 on all the helpful things, but also sometimes very scary elements, and sometimes amping up our threat response. So I found out when I worked with 9/11, this is a while ago now, but I was one of the first responders there. I was there 7 or 8 days after it happened, and I kept thinking that I had to stay on the news all the time, constantly, to know what was going on so I could be more helpful to my clients. And I went and I did trainings and I did work with people, and it was very helpful to them and to me. It was fulfilling to me. But the problem was I watched way too much media. They said in like 2 days there were over 10,000 images of the planes hitting the buildings, and it was just keeping everybody really scared. And of course it was a terrifying time, as is now. But what I learned from that is that I listened to media. I pushed myself into almost an actual secondary PTSD response. I started after I worked in New York for a few weeks. Then I worked in Pennsylvania with the folks that had suffered there. And I ended up with secondary PTSD. I started having anxiety attacks, couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. It was a very difficult time. And I learned that it's part of my own self-care as a professional for the future that I really needed to limit how much media I expose myself to. Maybe there's a website that updates that you keep in touch with, it like once a day, but not continually. Maybe you watch just a really brief 20-minute segment on TV, but you don't have it running in the background 24/7. And you'll find out what you need to know. Information is everywhere. And try to see if you can limit it, especially if you're noticing you're getting an anxiety response. I've been moderately connected to the media with the coronavirus to keep connected, but one day I was watching it a little bit too much, and I felt this surge of fear go through my body. And then I turned it off immediately, switched to something very light and funny on Netflix, and then later called a friend. And all of that helped me feel the fear and panic that went through me, because I had to honor that. It was a very real response, and I know we're having those responses, but then really give myself a shift in focus to resource myself with something more inspiring, something more calming, something more grounding. Maybe you take 10 minutes to meditate or longer. Do a little yoga, something, move around, but connect to your friends. Do something that helps you find your resiliency, because we have incredibly resilient spirits. So I just want to enforce resiliency and a bit of a media fast, or at least a very small diet of it, so that you're not overwhelming yourself. It's already overwhelming enough. So take good care. Be careful about how you interact with the news. Update yourself, stay informed. Maybe you stay informed through your friends or NPR or something that's a little easier to manage the arousal level around. And just be careful and self-caring. And I would pass this on to your clients too, especially if they're overdosing on too much news and too much over and over and over exposure of what's happening right now. Want to stay updated, want to stay informed, but not overwhelmed. So thank you. The message today is calm, calm, calm. Thank you. Take care. I'll see you soon.